All right, so the Los Angeles Rams go out and get Jared Verse out of Florida, who's a player I really like a lot. I think there's a lot of really good value in. Who's 15th on the consensus big boards that are getting him at here at pick 19, so definitely feel good about that. I had him at 21 on my big boards, so I'm right around here as well, and it fills a need for the Rams. I think for the Rams, they were a team that, you lose Aaron Donald. My podcast co-host Kyle said it, and I think it's true, which is like he compared it to the Moneyball thing of losing Jason Giambi, and it's like you're not going to replace Jason Giambi. You're not going to find a player who can do what Jason Giambi can do. You have to instead find enough players who can kind of replace the overall production. And I think he even picked Verse, that pick 19, if I remember correctly, in our mock draft. Here, Verse goes 19 into actual draft. Should be a really good player for them. I mean, he's not a perfect prospect. He isn't, and we will get into the negatives. But for the Rams, I mean, listen, I really like Kobe Turner a lot as a player. And I think that you put him and Turner next to each other. Again, Turner is not Aaron Donald. And we don't know what Verse can be. He might not be Von Miller either, right? But you think about how much damage those two guys did on their Super Bowl run. I think the Rams kind of thinking, hey, if we can get two guys who can be next to each other and do that kind of damage, this could be a really, this could help out the defense a lot. Their defense needed help. As great of a season as Matthew Stafford put in last year for the Rams, it didn't quite end up, in another Super Bowl victory, largely due to the defense having some struggles. And, I think they still need some secondary help, and they have, I believe, like 13 more picks this draft, so I'm sure that they will try to get some depth there, which should help. Getting a guy like Verse should do a lot of really good stuff for them. I think it's a smart move. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Rams getting the player, but now let's talk about the player himself. Let's shift gears and get into the film study portion of this video. Let's start off with this play. I think this will be a good example of really kind of showcasing a lot of what he can do. This is going to be in the running game, actually, because, hey, that matters. And, Verse is someone who I think it's fair to say there are better run defenders than him. In fact, I think that was his, the one thing that we would kind of look at as a knock is the run defense. But he certainly would have his splash plays here as well, and really with the explosiveness at the line and his ability to get the hand placement where he wants at the line. Watch how right when his play begins, it's that first step into hands to get immediately over to where at this point he's made an inside move, and the halfback who's trying to get in that direction doesn't really have a lot of options at this point. Now, you could bounce things to the outside, and that's actually something I would be a little concerned about with Verse, is I do wonder how many times, he could overcommit in one way, and people could, kind of burn him on that, but here, that's not going to happen. He is able to get over and makes that immediate tackle. Really good stuff there from Verse. And, again, he definitely has these all throughout his film. And even something like this, where it kind of brought up, like, well, could the, inside moves be an issue? Well, again, at the NFL, or at the college level, it really wasn't. Like, something like this, the tackle's going to block him one-on-one. Once again, you see him kind of use the hands really quickly to get away from the tackle. I mean, tackle's just on the ground at this point. It's completely gone away from him. Now, the halfback kind of says, okay, if I run forward, I'm not going to gain many yards, so let's not do what happened last time. Let's try to bounce things to the outside. The issue is Verse is also such a good athlete. Watch Verse be able to, get over, and he makes that immediate tackle. So yeah, while you can definitely point to some negatives in the running game. I'm not saying there aren't those available. I just think that there's still enough positives there. I'm not as concerned about it as I maybe would be with other players. But also, let's go over to the pass rush, because that's what we're here to talk about, right? They're drafting him to be a great pass rusher who can hopefully, hold his own in the run defense game, and that's what he's going to do on this play, is rush the passer, one-on-one matchup against the tackle. And again, when his play begins, watch the hands and how he quickly swipes around the tackle. Is that right hand just kind of knocking, the left hand out of position for the tackle, to the point where now, if you're an offensive lineman, what do you do at this point? The only thing you can really try to do is push Verse behind your quarterback. But as you see, it was too late at that point. Verse went too quickly and ends up, clobbering the poor quarterback right there. So, really good stuff, I think, by Verse to, again, be able to pull these things off and to pull these things off consistently as well. You also have a play like this where it's going to be a one-on-one block here against the left tackle. This is once again going to be in the run defense game, but what I like about it is it shows off his power right here, which is another real thing that he has going for him, is that the power is very good, and you're going to see it here. Watch how when this play begins, watch him drive back that tackle to the point where for the halfback, you're not getting through that gap. So, well, this would work in, run defense and pass rush. We're seeing it here in run defense. As you see, it was a teammate who made a tackle, but certainly it was not without some, good stuff that Verse himself was doing on the play. I think it's definitely fair to give him some credit for that one. Like also a play like this, where you see where he is once again on the edge, going to be going up one-on-one against a tackle. This time it is going to be in a pass rush situation. And again, you're really going to see him just drive that offensive lineman back. And this is what Verse can do. And listen, there's a lot of people who would tell you, hey, if you can pull these moves off, as a quarterback, it's kind of the worst thing possible because, everything else, there's a way you can manage it, right? If you get a good speed rush going, well, the quarterback can step up in the pocket. If you get a good inside move going, quarterback can try to get outside the pocket. But if you are just driving the tackle right back into the quarterback, no matter what the quarterback tries to do to counter it, not a lot you can do because if you run in one direction, so can the edge rusher. And also stuff like this, listen, that's not the only way he can beat you. He can beat you with speed. This one's a good example of what he can do. Watch him just, explode past the tackle. Tackle barely even gets a hand on him. Now, again, kind of what I brought up, right? There is something the quarterback can do, step up in the pocket. And if there was pressure up the middle, then that would have resulted still in a sack. Didn't quite happen on this one. And it also was kind of friendly fire as the other tackle did such a good job. They ended up running into each other. But still, definitely that explosiveness to get around the tackle can really, be a key attribute for Verse. And it'll work out usually better than it did on this one. So, yeah, as a whole, a lot of really good stuff to like in Verse's game. Seems like a really good player. So, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on him and what he can bring to the table. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate that. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button or just click on the channel itself. I will be covering every little detail about this draft. So, if there's anything you're interested in, I'm sure I have a video about it. Make sure you check that out. Also, if you like movies, make sure you check out my movie channel. The link is in the description for that. Have a lot of fun stuff on there, some movie reviews, some tier lists, stuff like that. And also, if you want to just hear more of my general thoughts, follow me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Link is in the description for that as well. And once again, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it.